Hello, 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 and welcome to Conversations with JR. Um, Hair is blowing, sitting in front of the fan, live in New York City. You know it's a little hot outside, not complaining about the heat at all. Today's topic is called The Message, and it's centered around the message that we are sending out to this generation of young women and young men, but especially to our young women. Let me explain. When I was growing up, I'm a baby boomer. I was born in the baby boomer era. And when I was growing up, I felt like what I know now, I felt like I was set up to fail. I was set up to fail by that generation of adults. No, Miss Ra, which some people call me, but it's JR. I am not pointing finger blame. But when you hear what I have to say, I want you to deeply think about what I have to say. When I say that I was set up to fail, but I didn't. And I'm very happy that I did not fail because I was one of the lucky ones. I was fortunate. I was one of the lucky ones who, through trial and error, and through all the dysfunctional relationships and abusive relationships and a lot of traumatic events, experiences that I have had, I was lucky that there were always someone. There was always one person, and there was always someone who helped me, And that my state of mind did not go so far and so deep in that I could not come back. Now, when I say that I was set up to fail because I came from a home where we attended church religiously, and my parents were so bent on us being good that I had to be what the church was teaching. I had to be a good girl, and I had to do everything right, and I had to be a pure girl, and I had to save myself. Save myself for what? And from what? I'm not bashing the church. I'm here to make a point. I start out by saying the message, and it is the message that we are sending out this society. When I say we, I'm talking about the church, I'm talking about the educational institutions, and I'm also talking about what's happening and what's not happening in the home. The foundation for what we are supposed to learn as young men and as young women. I am saying it, and I'm going to say it again and over again. It should start in the home. When I grew up, I was taught nothing. All I heard was, I'll be glad when you get 18. I'll be glad when you get 18 so you can get out. So you can get out on your own. 18 and get out on your own and do what? Yes, the legal age then was 18, I think it's 21 now, that you are considered to be an adult. But at 18, you don't understand the decisions that you are making. You are not ready to go out in the world and to really live an adult life. I heard that so much in my home that it made me feel like the adults in my life, all they wanted to do was get rid of me. That somehow I was an inconvenience to them and they just wanted to get rid of me. So how it happened for me was I became a young teenage mother. And from the time that I was pregnant, I was shown no love, no compassion. No one still set me down and said to me, look, this is not a mistake. Your child is not a mistake. What you did was not a mistake. This is what happened. This is how it happened. And this is how you're going to go forward from there. No, there was no village that supported me. I got a lot of anger. I was labeled, and I'm still don't understand how to go forward in life with this child because no one was talking to me. I got a lot of bitterness. But no one was still teaching me and talking to me. And that's what's happening with today's generation. They are being turned out of the churches because the only thing the churches are saying to them and wagging their finger at them and condemning them and telling them sin, 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 sin. But no one, the church is the place that is supposed to show the most love, the most compassion, We are supposed to learn and be taught and be guided. But the church isn't doing that. The only thing that they're doing is telling them that they need to hold on to themselves. They need to save themselves. They need to wait for marriage. But they're not really being taught as coming into being young women and young men from childhood, going through adolescence into young adulthood and then adulthood. They are not being taught about the transition and the reason why their bodies are being developed and the hormones. This is very important. No one is sitting around. They used to call it the birds and the bees. Ain't nobody sitting around right now in this generation sitting around talking to young people about this and the responsibility that they have to themselves before they can be responsible for anyone else. This is why I said setting them up to fail. And this is what we're doing. We're setting them up to fail. Get an education. All they're doing is saying, go to college, go to school, get an education. But no one is sitting down talking to them and saying to them, what is it that you like? What are you interested in? What do you think that you are good at? They're not trying to help them develop the creativity and the skills and the thinking to understand what they are good at. They're just thrusting them into college and go to college and get a job and make money. And that's it. They are not preparing young women, young men to be problem solvers. When I was growing up, I was labeled a lot. And this is what we do in the home. We label our children hot, fast, you're smelling yourself, you're grown. We need to understand that these labels hurts. And being sexually active at a young age, young people are experimenting, they are exploring. They don't know what they are doing. They don't understand what the consequences are. This is the reason why. And then what happens is, I got turned out of my home. You had to get out. You ain't bringing no babies in here. You had to get out. So you're turning them out into the streets. And we know nothing. We don't have the skills. We don't have the ability, money management, time management, how to spend time with your children. So this is what's happening. You're turning them out in the street, and then you're turning your grandchildren out in the street. And this is why a lot of young women are laying around and having baby after baby after baby, and they have so many different baby fathers. No one is sitting and teaching them and grabbing them by the shoulders and shaking them and saying, stop this. This is why I said that we are responsible, this society, we are responsible for creating the next generation of damaged and dysfunctional young men and dysfunctional young women. We are the cause. Like I said, I was lucky. I had people that came along in my way. I was very, very lucky. I talk about the church, but the word of God saved me. I'm not preaching religion to no one. There's different avenues out there that's going to save different people. But the word of God saved me because I learned to distance myself from people. I became a loner because I got tired of the abuse. I got tired of the rejection. I got tired of just hearing labels and people gossiping and talking. This is what the adult world is doing to the young people of today's society. We are treating them like they're discarded trash instead of helping them. You're saying, oh, this is just the way this generation is. No. Look what the trash that's being put on TV that they're being exposed to. Look at the technology. Look around what's happening. Families are just buying children TVs in their rooms, computers in their rooms, games in their rooms. So you don't bond with them. You don't sit. You don't talk. You don't have a meal. You don't ask them how they're feeling. How was their day? What happened? What went on? They need to understand why they are transitioning and what is going on with them. Look around. This is what we're doing to the infants. As soon as they start crying, we pass them off to someone else, or we give them a piece of technology, and that's it. No one is talking. No one is having conversation. No one is bonding. We are labeling them. We're giving them negative names, negative environments. And then these young ladies lay around and have these babies by these men. And they get angry with these men because these men don't stay around. They don't stay around because they're not being taught how to stay around. So the anger is towards the children. Oh, you're just like your father. You're going to be like a nothing like your father. Or you're just like your mother. And all you're doing is labeling people. And what you're doing is you're creating anger and hostility. Why do you think that these young people are so aggressive and angry and full of hatred? They feel hopeless. They don't see no love. They don't see no compassion. They come from broken homes where mothers are angry and tired. Where arguments happen every day, where they don't see no love. All they see is arguments. All they see is fighting. They come from a drug abused home. They come from home where alcohol is what young ladies are using this day today, and drinking in order to deal with the pain, deal with their anger, deal with their rejection, deal with they just don't know what to do. No one is helping them. No one is helping them. No one is sitting and talking to them. Like I said, I was set up to fail, but I did not. I was one of the lucky ones. You know, the J.R. Floyd that you see today, I suffered a lot of dysfunctional relationships. I suffered a lot of abuse. I suffered a lot of traumatic experiences that I just one after another, and I just didn't understand why this was happening to me, because my foundation was not set for me. There was no mother-daughter talk. I bless the spirit of my grandmother, because my grandmother taught me how to take care of my body. She taught me how to rest well. The work ethics that I have right now, I learned that from my grandmother. So I bless the spirit of my grandmother. You know, my father taught us how to survive, but there was no father-daughter talks. You know, there was no father-daughter talks. So I really didn't know how to be in relationships. I didn't know giving myself away so many times, the damage that it was going to cause me. I didn't know anything. You know, labeling your children sneaky, you know, that doesn't help. That really doesn't help. What we need to start doing now is talking. Have compassion. Spend 5 minutes with a young lady, with a young man, and sit down and talk to them. You know, that's all they want. I'm a teacher, and that's what I do. I work in a community college. And while I'm working on myself, I learn to slow down and look at how I'm dealing and handling and talking to the young people, because I sit and I listen to them. And if you hear the frustrations from them, and I learned to sit down and I learned to just listen to them and talk to them and try to help them to find the resources to help them to get through just a day. These young people are up against a lot, and they are just trying to get through a day. These young women out here, the only message that they are getting is how to use their bodies instead of their minds, instead of their intellect. Someone has to reach out and show them and turn them around, help to turn them around. They are up against so much. The message, they're getting a lot of mixed messages, negative messages. They're getting a lot of rejection. They're getting a lot of neglect. We need to change the message. We need to change the message. It starts in the home. Clean out these homes. Women, clean out these homes from the only focus you have is on a man, and you neglecting your children. Be aware of these men that you are bringing in your home, around your children, around your young girls, around your young men. Be aware. Love your children. Spend time with your children, bonding with your children. If you happen to find yourself to be a single parent, count that as a blessing. Go to the church. All churches are not alike. Get some help. Just reach out. But let's change the message. Let's change the foundation in our homes. Look around us and look what's happening. You know, I'm going at it hard. If you say, JR, you going at this hard, I feel very compassionate about it. I understand. I understand. I've been there. A lot of you who are listening to me right now, in your 40s, in your 50s, in your 30s, you've been there. You know. You understand. Let's not start acting like you don't know and you don't understand. One person at a time. It starts with a conversation. It starts with one person at a time. It starts with a smile. It starts with a hug. It starts with some real compassion. Let's start doing that. One person at a time. I'm telling you, we can heal. As black people, we can heal. We can do it. Sharing is caring. Share some of conversations with JR's videos. You know, sharing is caring. Let's start doing this. Let's slow down. Let's stop being too busy. You know, let's get in focus on the right things. We can turn this around. It's not too late. I thank you for listening. I'm going to always talk about these topics, and I'm going to keep talking until people start listening. Thank you, and enjoy your summer.